Hola, welcome to my other channel. The main idea of this channel is just to be a catalyst, to give you a different point of view, my point of view, that it might be right, it might be wrong, it might be the ramblings of a Chilean madman, I don't know. This video is a follow-up from my previous video where I talked about gold and what I wanted to do. I already doubled my money, but that was pure luck, okay? It was the right moment where the market just exploded after the US elections and lots of money got into the market, so I was lucky. Nevertheless, my next move and why I'm doing this video, I need you to leave your feelings or your political views aside for a little bit, okay? Please bear with me. Let's just talk about facts and then about feelings. You will realize soon why I'm doing this difference. My next move is going to put every % that I have, I'm gonna put it on Tesla. Bear with me, I know that Elon is a very particular cat. It's very divisive. Some people love him, some people hate him, but he is what he is. And through the years, we have learned how he is. He likes to troll people. He also annihilates some kind of people and he praises other type of people. I don't care about that. All I care is about my money management. So remember that I asked you to leave your feelings aside. Let's go step by step about facts, okay? Just let's talk about facts and then feelings. Why I make this difference? Because the stock price of a company, of a given company, it's driven by two things. The company itself, but also public sentiment, public feelings. Because if everyone is buying the stock, even if the company is crap, the stock goes up. There's many examples of that. And if the company is good, but everyone is selling the stock, the price goes down. It's just, that's what moves, that is the only thing that moves the price. And the demand for the stock. Now let's talk about Tesla. From the beginning, Tesla was a very low-cost stock, low-value company. Once Musk got aboard the plan, it started going somewhere. They have always stated publicly their mission, their goal, you know, the Master Plan 1, Master Plan 2. They have always been very open of what they want to achieve. The problem is that timing. Musk is known for being super optimistic and his timing is never accurate. He thinks that he can solve things way faster than reality. But if you follow the breadcrumbs of all his appearances, all his interviews, I think you get to know him, you get the sense of how he operates, how his mind operates. He's very optimistic because he sees a clear path of how to get somewhere. Usually it takes way longer than what he thinks, but also you have to bear in mind that what he's proposing usually has never been done before. So he thinks, he does a timeline thinking like he thinks, but then the rest of the world and the workers and the technology has to catch up. So first things first, why do I think the stock is going to explode? If you pay attention from his first interviews to now, before he was very not conscious of the weight of his words. So when he posted on X, previously known as Twitter, that he had the funding secure to get the stock to 420 to buy the stock back, that got him in trouble. When he did the offering for X and then he wanted to back down, a judge had to force him to buy it. And I think with time, and also if you hear every year's calls, every year's investors, I don't remember the name. Every year a public traded company has to disclosure where they're going, what they think, their financials, everything. He was way more optimistic before and now he's getting more cautious. He says, I think we will get here, there, but don't listen to me because I've been very optimistic on the past. He's acknowledging that failure, but I'm not gonna present you interviews where he says what I'm telling you, because I am not going to spoon feed you the information. If you care about this and your finances, I'm not a financial advisor, so you have to do your own due diligence and corroborate if what I'm saying makes sense or doesn't make sense, if I'm right or if I'm wrong. So this is just a catalyst to make you think and spark an interest on you and say, okay, is this guy Benjamin talking nonsense, or is he presenting something that might make sense? So in an interview about a month and a half ago in the Emirates, I think, I'm not sure, he was talking about everything he does, and he was asked about full self-driving, if it was solved or was not solved, how long it will take to solve it. And his reply was, it's already solved. He glimpsed about it, and then he kept talking about other things. Remember, it's a public traded company, so anything he says about that company, he can get sued if it's not accurate, if it's not right, unless he discloses that allegedly, or I think it's my opinion, that saves him from getting sued. But if he doesn't say a disclaimer like that, he's doing a statement from a public traded company, so he can get sued. When he was asked about the FSD, he said, that's already solved, we are working on blah 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 blah. It flew under the radar, but I think they already solved FSD. If you go to the last event they held, the iRobot, where they revealed the robotaxi and the robot, all those robotaxis were driving on full self-driving without any help. The robots had humans on the back end controlling some things, but the taxis were not. So what I think, this is just a speculation from my part, that they already solved full self-driving, but for the version 5 hardware. Remember that when the cars have certain hardware capabilities for FSD. They have cameras in certain resolution, they have computer chips that work at certain speeds, and the new robotaxi has hardware 5. It's a new cameras, new computers, everything. So I think they solved self-driving for hardware 5. But since they are not producing the robotaxi yet, and they're getting ready to produce it, they say that the first units will be available in the beginning of 2025, and the full production ramp will be in 2026. They have all that time to catch up with the sexy lineup, which is the Model S, the Model X, the Y, and all the 4 models. Some of those models have hardware 3, other has hardware 4. Just a few days ago, they released the FSD version 13 for hardware 4, but not for hardware 3. So, and everyone that has tried that FSD hardware, version 13, already says it's not ready for prime time yet, but it's a quantum leap from previous versions. So without interventions, or very few interventions like driver intervention. So what I think they're doing, they already solved it for hardware 5, but they're scaling it for hardware 4, and then they have to scale it for hardware 3. Otherwise, they will have to replace hardware 3 in their previous vehicles. They already said, hey, if we cannot make FSD work on hardware 3, we will replace hardware 3 for free, because they know they need that to fulfill the promise of full self-driving. And people that have cars with hardware 3 already paid for that software, and they're waiting for the release. So if that software does not work on their hardware, they will sue Tesla. So what did Tesla did? They said, okay, if we don't get FSD working on your hardware, we'll replace the hardware for free, we'll upgrade it. So my thinking is that they already solved full self-driving for hardware 5. They are scaling it down for 4 and then 3, and they have the buffer time from now until they start not producing but delivering robotaxis. They also said that in the first half of 2025, you will see in some places, I think California and Texas, you will be able to already use the sexy lineup as a robot, as a taxi, as full self-driving. They will start in those 2 cities as a rollout, and then they will expand as law permits. Remember, each state has their own regulations, their own laws. Then we go, you have all the Trump, that Trump won, and he's an advisor, or however you want to call him, the Dutch. And if they manage to get a federal regulation where all states have to comply, they will be way bullish. But let's not get ahead. My thinking, in that interview, he said it's solved. They already did an event. Also, you have to think, okay, so also Musk himself, one time he mentioned that the stock cost was too high. He didn't say the value, he said the cost. It was too high, and then they split it, they adjusted it, so it was more affordable. At the end, what matters is the company valuation. If you think that Tesla will not solve full self-driving, the stock is already too high. If you think Tesla is only a car company, don't get into it, because as Musk himself said, hey, if you don't believe in FSD, you think we are just a car company and we will never solve full self-driving, don't get into Tesla. The owner is telling you that. If you think Tesla is only a car company, don't get into it. My thinking is that they are a car company, they are a artificial intelligence company, they are a robotics company, they are a technology company. When Musk said that he was going to build a supercomputer with 100,000 GPUs to train artificial intelligence models, everyone laughed at him because 2 things. When you ask the experts, the supposed experts, if that was possible, from the guys from Google, the guys from Meta, they all replied, that's impossible. The most you can get GPUs to work together is 30,000. You cannot get more. Each GPU has to communicate with all the other rest of the GPUs on what they're doing. So if you have 30,000, one GPU has to communicate and know what the rest of the 29,999 are doing. So everyone said scaling it to 100,000 was impossible. Guess what? Musk did it. Not only that, if you see an interview of the CEO of NVIDIA, the makers of the top-end GPUs for artificial intelligence, he was blown away by 2 things. That accomplishment that I just said, the 100,000 GPUs talking in synchrony to each other, that was never seen before, but also the time of execution. Any normal company would have taken years, not only to build the data center, but to get them to work together to communicate. Musk and his team was able to do it in months, so he jumped ahead, not doing it in years, but in months. And he also made what every expert thought it was impossible. He went over 30,000 GPUs working together. He went to 100,000. Now he is 10xing that capability. It's very ambitious, but if they do that, if they scale it, they're not just a car company. Also, the robot, not the taxi, but the robot itself, it has a huge potential because there's no lives at risk, at least at the beginning, right? If you don't allow it. If you get robots doing repetitive tasks in factories or in your house, there's no risk, there's no life risk. With the cars, if the car makes a mistake and kills someone, they're liable for it. And if you die, they are liable for it. But the robot, if it's in your house helping you doing the dishes or in a factory soldering something, if the robot fails, no one dies. So that's way easier to scale. They're just working on the last iterations of the hardware. I don't know if you saw the hand they just showed with lots more movement than before. So once they ramp up the production, the cost will get down, lower and lower. And the software that runs on the robots, with the compute power they have, they will improve super fast. So maybe you can buy a robot, the base model, for X amount of money, And then if you want to unlock capabilities, you just pay and you get a over-the-air software update, and your robot is capable of more things. So if you think about the total addressable market for those things, the robotaxi or the autonomous fleet of cars plus the robots, the valuation of the company is astronomically. Will they achieve it or not? That's up to you to decide. I think they already solved full self-driving. Now they're working on the hardware. They're already starting to produce the robotaxi that will start delivering on the first half of 2025, full production in 2026. The robot is just, so do your own valuation and don't listen to guys that are super bullish like me. Don't listen to guys that are super bearish saying that company is all a scam. But remember, when the guy said he will catch a rocket from coming back, he did it. When he said he will put 100,000 GPUs together to working in synchrony and everyone laughed, he did it. He works differently, and the team he has surrounding, it's the best of the best. Every time there's a job opening for Tesla, millions of people apply, not hundreds, millions. So they get to hire the creme de la creme, the top of the crop. So that's it. I'm putting every percent I have in Tesla for my next doubling. I don't know what you're gonna do, but at least search all the things that I told you about the GPUs, about that interview when he talks about autonomous cars. Just do your research, and if you think that Tesla is more than just a car company, it's a no-brainer. Also, all of this is long time. If you wanna invest your money now to have revenue tomorrow, most likely you will lose it because it's a super volatile company. That's before when I talk about sentiment. Tesla has not changed its core values, but the stock goes up and down because it's tied to sentiment. When all the investors, either retail or big money, they panic because Elon said something, or he showed something. Oh no, you have to sell because the stock is gonna crash. Oh, he promised something, it's gonna go to the moon. That's why it's so volatile, because you have people wanting to buy or to sell, and the stock goes up and down. But if you see the company, what they promise and what they achieve, it's the valuation. Sometimes it takes longer to get where they say they're gonna get, but over time, if you invest with a long time horizon, so you are not gambling, dude, it's up to you. I know where I'm putting every percent I have in the foreseeable future. Until the next one, ciao.